So I went out with some girlfriends last night and we had an incredible night of bonding and fun and laugh, like you always do with your close girlfriends. But it really got me thinking about what made these friendships so special. And I think that it has to do with vulnerability and how important vulnerability is to the growth and the maintenance of those personal friendships with your girlfriends. And in turn, how important that vulnerability and those friendships are to your mental health. So I'm going to start off with a story that you may have heard in one of the episodes because I've mentioned it a couple of times. But it was when I was a young mother and I was working full time. I was very successful. I had two small children that were very busy. I was a manager of a soccer team, amongst the many other things I did not know how to say no to. But what I always did was I always made sure I was dressed really nicely. I always made sure that my hair was always done, my makeup was always done, and that I just was always really well put together. And I had a mother come up to me one day who was going to be going back into the workforce, and she had two children. And she said to me, "How do you do it all? How do you keep yourself all together and just like you got everything together?" And I looked at her and I was thinking, oh my God, she has no idea what a mess I really am. So I shared an analogy, which I thought was just such a great visual. Was I said, you know that junk closet you have? You know, the one that has a little bit of extra space in it so that when you have people that come over, you can throw all that junk that's laying around your house in it and slam the door. And then when your visitors leave, you crack that door open and all the shit falls right back out. And that was basically me. On the outside, I was all put together and looking good, but on the inside, I was just a big junk closet. And it took me some time over the years to realize that being all put together on the outside wasn't serving me. It kept me in a very lonely space. I had friendships, I had good friendships, but I didn't have great friendships. And not having great friendships then created isolation and loneliness. And this group of friends I have been fortunate to find, I have been able to discover how to be vulnerable and how to grow with them. And you know what I noticed was they still love me. They love me when I share the messy sides of my life. They love me when I share the happy sides of my life. They love me when I'm fully made up, and they love me when I come back from the gym and I'm sweaty and stinky. They just love me for who I am. And as a matter of fact, I think they love me a little bit more because I'm not perfect. And because that allows them not to feel like they have to be perfect. And I say this because I think so many of us, for the majority of the day, feel like we have to be perfect. We go to work and we have to look a certain way, right? You can't go to work and like be crying and being upset. You have to keep your stuff together. But you don't have to do that 24 hours a day. And by keeping all of that stuff inside, you are not serving yourself. So I'm going to challenge you, if you're that person that feels like you always have to be put together, or that you're carrying the world's weight on your shoulders and you can't allow somebody else to share in that, I'm going to ask that you find one person to just try to be a little vulnerable with and see how much better you feel and how much closer you can get, because it really is a gift to have people who see you for who you are.